Good morning from a very stormy Dallas, Texas. So I'm really hoping that the broadcast stays on because, ooh, I'm getting some amazing lightning flashes. Like I should set my phone up just to record because there's some interesting. I'm going to sit my phone here, see if it'll do it. Nope, I'm going to have to hold it the whole time. Yeah, we're not doing that. Good morning, friends. How are you doing? And happy first day of March. Just like that, February came and went. Phew. Feel like you got sideswiped by February? It just kind of came by and sort of, you know, left in its wake. Mm. Well, listen, if this is your first time to catch me live, thanks for stopping. Why don't you grab a cup of coffee, or if you've got a water bottle or something nearby, curl up on a chair. Or maybe if you're at your desk, why don't you get up and go take a coffee break? I know maybe you just got there, but you know what? It's time to get some coffee first. It'll help your day. Well, my name is Renee Harden. By trade, I am an editor. I am a writer. I'm a writing coach. I love helping new authors sort of get started, maybe really get serious about thinking about putting their words together in some kind of format to share, whether it be a blog, starting a blog, um, writing newsletters if you write them for your company. If you're a student and you are writing papers, you know you're having to write papers for school somehow. Um, all of those things require creative writing. And so maybe you have thought about putting a story together. Maybe you've got an idea for a screenplay or some poetry or something that you have just been itching to get out of you, right? Well, that's what I do. I love helping new writers see their works to fruition and help get them published. So every week I do this little live stream thing where I check in with you, see how you're doing, see how you're doing on your writing goals, answer any questions that you might have, and then share and talk about some amazing stories. One of being this storm that's going on. If I could turn my camera around, I don't know if I could do this. Let me see if I can try this. And you can see the storm outside. So if you happen to see a flash suddenly, it's not because I'm being photographed by the paparazzi. It's really because there's a major storm front moving in. I am traveling to Nashville on Thursday, and at first I was flying, but then when I saw this come in, this is part of that subset of storms that is moving across the United States, pummeling the north with feet of snow. Um, and yet down in the south, we're having very treacherous spring weather, tornadoes coming through. So I made sure to cancel my flight tomorrow because the thick of it is supposed to be right over Dallas as I was supposed to fly out tomorrow. I am instead going to get up very early in the morning tomorrow and head out on my way to Nashville, driving. It's easier to manage it from the ground than be up in it in a storm. Mm-mm. So, March the 1st, we've got a brand new month. We're starting a brand new month. It's kind of like a clean slate. When you see the first of every month come up, you're like, okay. So that was January and February, guys. Do you remember back when we were making goals of things we were going to accomplish in 2023? Things that you kind of wanted to get done, goals that you set for yourself for the first quarter of 2023. Um, how you doing on those? We just walked through. I just took my followers through a 6 week course of what did the book? I put on my bookshelf. I have so many. Yes, there it is. You could only see how many books over here are just my writing books. Like these are my reference books for when I'm working. But we just went through a 6 week walk of Julia Cameron's Write for Life. And if you are a writer, if you're an aspiring writer, if you've ever thought about writing your story, this is a book I highly recommend. It'll help you really harness your creativity so that you can focus it on producing something great, right? So Julia has inspired many artists over the last, 35, 40 years in helping people really set some habits that help get your writing on paper, on a screen, but more importantly, on paper. If you see me making references to morning pages, it's in this book. You know what it's about. It's spending your first minutes of the morning writing in longhand, writing, like actually writing, not typing on a screen, writing 3 pages a day, journaling, getting your thoughts out on paper because it's a way to unlock and release the flow of ideas that come to you as a creative person. And then once you set those down, you set some tangible goals. One of my mentors, John Acuff, is a goals guy, and he's someone that has really helped me sort of fine tune how I approach my work, my writing, helping clients with their writing, and set some tangible writing goals that we can achieve to see your book through to publication. So, brand new month, and this month's theme is really important. Ooh, did y'all see that flash? I'm telling you guys, it's I should have set up the time lapse camera, but the lightning strikes that I'm seeing out of my window, and you can maybe hear. Good morning, Sherry. How are you doing? 10 inches of new snow so far. Talk about a story. I don't know. Some of the stories that I have seen, you guys, I saw a news story of a guy who lives in Truckee, California, and when he woke up and looked out his windows, he couldn't see because the snow had fallen. 9 feet of snow. Could you imagine being iglooed in? That's a story, right? That's a story to tell about how much snow falls and what it's like. Because for people like me who do not want to ever be in a situation where there's 9 feet of snow, because I'm only 5 feet tall, that would freak me out. Would it freak you out? What a story. So there's stories going on all around us all the time. We capture them, we write them down, we share them with each other. We're doing it on social media platforms. But what if you really wanted to focus in and share a unique story with people that you know, that you love, that you want to help, that you want to entertain, maybe? So it's amazing the stories that can come out. And this month, I am going to be focusing on National Women's History Month. Um, this entire month is celebrated, and its origins are in 1980. So when I was a senior in high school, President Carter signed into a proclamation declaring that the week of the 2nd through the 8th of March of 1980 was National Women's History Week. And so that has now been turned into an entire month of celebration. And the theme this month is celebrating women who tell our stories. And I'm so excited because there's so many stories out there, um, of strong women, of dedicated women, of creative women, brave women who have really shaped our culture, shaped our history. So we're going to be celebrating some of those stories. And so, of course, the greatest woman, other than my grandmother B, who I loved dearly, my maternal grandmother, who practically raised me, um, was a woman we lost last year. And so my mug dedicated to Queen Elizabeth, it says, it's good to be queen. And it is good to be queen. I love being the queen in my house. I don't know about you. But we as women and our importance and our contributions to life. The Bible says that God created us from Adam's rib, from his side, from his help side. We are to come along and partner with, our soulmates to walk through life. We were created from another human being. Our connection, our very creation comes from a human being. So life is passed on through that. And what a great gift, what a privilege we have to help perpetuate God's holy ways. So we're going to be centering stories. We're going to be looking at some great stories. Um, here's my book. Oh, see, I'm packing. I'm getting my book bag ready. And so now it's over there. Let me grab it real quick. My book bag that is going with me on my trip. And believe me when I say I've got some great short stories. I have been doing some research, sort of crafting out my shows for this month of what I'm going to be sharing with you. And so I hope you'll be inspired by the stories that I will feature each week, the books that I'm going to recommend that you read, the authors that I'm going to recommend that you follow, and the stories that you'll be able to share. So we are going to be in my book club. You want to be a part of the book club if you've never been part of the book club. If you'd like to kind of dabble your toes in the waters of a book club, you can join mine. There's no long-term obligation. If you just want to join for the reading of a book that we're doing together, you can do that. So this is our book for the month of March. It's called Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. And this book is set back in 1960s. Chemist Elizabeth Zott is not your average woman. In fact, Elizabeth Zott would be the first to point out that there is no such thing as an average woman. But it's the early 1960s, and her all male team at Hastings Research Institute takes a very unscientific view of equality. Except for one, Calvin Harris, the lonely, brilliant, Nobel Prize nominated grudge holder who falls in love with, of all things, her mind. True chemistry results. Like science, though, life is unpredictable, which is why a few years later, Elizabeth Zott finds herself not only a single mother, but also the reluctant star of America's most beloved cooking show, Supper at Six. Elizabeth's unusual approach to cooking, combine 1 tablespoon acetic acid with a pinch of sodium chloride. Power is revolutionary, but as her following grows, not everyone is happy. Because as it turns out, Elizabeth Zott isn't just teaching women to cook, she's daring them to change the status quo. Laugh out loud funny, shrewdly observant, and studded with a dazzling cast of supporting characters, Lessons in Chemistry is as original and vibrant as its protagonist. What an incredible description of the story. And so we're going to be looking at the life of a woman who was a scientist, a chemist in the early 1960s. What was that like for women in the early 60s? We tend to think that what we have as rights in the United States has just been, it's a novel thing. We've had it forever. But women really haven't walked into a new phase of their life, um, that has been impacted by societal changes. And so in the 1960s, it was a very turbulent time. It was when equal rights were being fought for. So, like I said, in 1980, President Carter, which precious President Carter has gone into hospice care. He is in his last days. So if you think about that, you know, send up some prayers for our president because he was a precious man and he did a lot of great things. No man is perfect in that seat, but the life that he has led since leaving the White House, all the way up to where his body couldn't even hold him up anymore. This man was out there serving the public, and so he will forever be remembered for that. But one of the things he's remembered for is signing this declaration about declaring Women's History Week. And so now that has turned it, like I said, into a month-long celebration. Um, you're looking forward to Lessons in Chemistry? Yeah, me too, Sherry. I really, because I'm a woman of that generation. I was born in the 60s, early 60s. Um, Hawaii had just been a state in 1959. So a lot of interesting things that shaped our culture and changed it and allowed women to walk in that. And then from a spiritual standpoint, what are those boundary lines? Because there has been a lot of shakeup in the church world, with Saddleback Church being ousted from the Southern Baptist convention because they have a woman who is leading the congregation. The woman is the head pastor. There's a lot of thoughts that fly around on something like that, right? What does the Bible say about women leading and women teaching? And yet, when you go through the lineage of Jesus, the genealogy of Jesus, and look at all of the women that are included, in ancient times, um, women were never included, in the historical record, except for, I mean, when you read the lineages, it's so and so, son of so and so, son of so and so. It's the father's name listed, not the mother's. And yet, in Jesus' own lineage, there were six major female characters. That might be something that we take a look at. Well, anyway, so that is going to be our story for the book club. And if you want to join the book club, or if you have any questions for me about writing, you can always get a hold of me here. Drop me a note at ronaeharden.com/contact. Ask me your questions. What do you want to know about getting started writing? What do you want to know about putting your writing out there in a regular content form? Um, do you have a story that maybe you've started that you want to flesh out? Or maybe you have something written that you want to just sort of put some shape to and actually do something with. Those are the kinds of questions I can answer for you and help you in your next steps towards getting that done. So, and you can also, like I said, join the book club. We're going to have fun with this one. And I can't wait to see the conversations that come up about this. There's a lot of thoughts about the things that are going on right now with women's rights, um, with women's medical care and their bodies. Um, are we regressing? Are things getting better? Are the protections there in place? How do we navigate the laws? And how do we do so without denigrating and dehumanizing other people just because they may believe a little differently than we do, right? So these are all going to be things that we will talk about in stories. Speaking of stories, there's one coming up this week. Cannot wait. I've been really trying to not allow social, because I'm not going to start it yet. I'm going to wait till I get back from Nashville so that Michael and I can watch it together, because we both read the book and I am super, super excited about this. If you've not followed Reese Witherspoon's book club, I started with the book club back in 2018, I believe. And so this was one of the early books that I read with her book club. I'm going to get the picture up here on the screen. And incredible book. Incredible book. And now she has adapted it into a limited series. And if you've ever, followed any of her little limited series or movies, so she did an adaptation of Where the Crawdads Sing. She did a limited series on Little Fires Everywhere. She took Tembi Locke's story from scratch and told Tembi Locke's story in a limited series as well. Amazing stories turned into great screen adaptations, right? But there had to be an original story. Well, this one I can't wait. So on March 3rd, Daisy Jones and the Six is going to release on, I believe it's Amazon. And loved the book. Loved the book. Taylor Jenkins Reid is a great author. And her characters are so vivid that you think they are real people. And so now Reese Witherspoon has taken this story about a band. And I swear when I read the book, it felt like I was listening to the story of Fleetwood Mac. Truly, this band emulated, and what's great is they even have music out on Spotify that is supposed to be the music written by this band. It's just, I love when original stories spark creativity in other forms. So I can't wait for this to start. Don't tell me about it. No spoilers. I'm not going to watch it till I get back on the 8th. I get back on the 8th. And so Michael and I are going to watch it uh, next weekend. Not this coming weekend, but next weekend. So I can't wait to watch it. I hope you will watch it. And even if you haven't read the book, watch the show. Because then when you read the book and you read where the story came from and all of the conversations and the interviews, it's fascinating. And I really can't wait to see it. So that's one of the stories that's coming up. Daisy Jones and the Six, written by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Grab a copy of it. It's a great story. Um, so we're going to be sharing more stories like that, right? Things that women have accomplished, things that women have written, stories that have been entertaining. Taylor Jenkins Reid herself I saw on Instagram, she shared that one day she walked into this concert and saw this band called Daisy Jones and the Six, and she swore they were real, except for she remembered that she made those characters up, but that she was able to walk in and see a band performing based on her original story. What a great thing that would be to see, right? So I appreciate Reese Witherspoon. If you haven't ever followed her stuff or checked out her book club, I highly recommend it. She picks really great books. She also, during the summer, will pick some great YA readers. You have young daughters and you want to have them kind of get into reading some serious minded fiction and nonfiction books. Definitely check out Reese's book club and join mine. I'll be able to point you to some of her books too. Always have to hydrate, especially during a podcast, right? Well, so what are some great stories that you've thought about, right? Think about the stories that you've learned or read about great women in the past. So let's talk a little bit about why March was picked. Like I said, um, President Carter signed a declaration in March of 1980. But let's go back. So let's see, trying to find where is my history lesson. Here it is. Okay. So President Jimmy Carter's message to the nation designating March 2nd through 8th, 1980 as a National Women's History Week, what he said was, from the first settlers who came to our shores, from the first American Indian families who befriended them, men and women have worked together to build this nation. Too often the women were unsung and sometimes their contributions went unnoticed. But the achievements, leadership, courage, strength, and love of the women who built America was as vital as that of the men whose names we know so well. I ask my fellow Americans to recognize this heritage with appropriate activities during National Women's History Week. I urge libraries, schools, and community organizations to focus their observances on the leaders who struggled for equality: Susan B. Anthony, Sojourner Truth, Lucy Stone, Lucretia Mott, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Harriet Tubman, and Alice Paul. Understanding the true history of our country will help us to comprehend the need for full equality under the law for all our people. This goal can be achieved by ratifying the 27th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which states that equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. So, this is an incredible move in our history. This was an incredible step to finally acknowledge, recognize, and celebrate and honor the achievements of some great women in history who have contributed greatly to the advancement, the health, and the welfare and the building of our nation. So important. Oh, Bonnie, good morning. Watching from Pennsylvania in the universe. Finally lined up just now with my computer so you can watch. Well, bless your heart. Thanks for being here. I'm really glad you're here. Hope you're staying warm up there in Pennsylvania, right? So we are going to be sharing um, all this month. I'll be coming live to you next week from Nashville, and I'm going to be sharing stories each week. We're going to be learning about some of these historic figures. I'm also going to be tying in some great women of my Hawaiian heritage and tell their stories. So we'll be celebrating all month. Do you have some great stories of great women in your life? Think about the women who maybe have really shaped your life. Could have been a sister, could have been an aunt, could have been a grandparent, could have been a business coworker or a mentor, or just a friend. Think about those people and honor them. If you have a great story to tell about them, um, find them on social media, tag them and let them know that you're thinking of them. But great women, great stories. Um, and that's why the theme for this month, oops, hold on, that wasn't supposed to come up. Oh, what am I looking for here? Oh, Sunday I'll get all of this production stuff down. This is not my best thing. Um, Here we go. This is the picture I want. Um, there we go. It's great software, but sometimes putting it all together is a little difficult. Oh my goodness. I will get this right. So, all of this month, I am going to be celebrating the women who tell our stories. I'm going to be sharing stories by, like I said, great historical figures, helping you learn a little bit about some great women and also share their books, share their stories. I love that one of my recommended books on creativity was written by a woman, right? Julia Cameron. So, again, if you are a budding writer and you really want to learn about writing, how you can get started, this is a great start. She provides 6 weeks, and it's almost like a workbook. So you're able to go through the exercises and tap into your creativity, really start putting some things together. So think about the stories maybe that you would like to share. Who are some great women in your life? Maybe it was a teacher who greatly influenced you, or a business mentor who really shared what they are doing. And I'm going to be sharing some of those with you this month. Also, here's some fun things that I found out about because I love looking up um, the holidays for each day. Do you ever do that? Are you kind of like nerdy where you know um, show something like that? It's just something that I love to look at to see because every day is special. So what are some fun things to celebrate on March the 1st? Well, today is also, let's see, National Fruit Compote Day. Love that. National Horse Protection Day. National Minnesota Day. Go Minnesota. National Peanut Butter Lovers Day. Love that one. It's National Pig Day. Little pigs. And also National Dadgum That's Good Day. Where did we come up with all of these names for holidays? But those could each start their own story, right? So finding something as simple as that is a great way to spark your creativity, spark your imagination. Um, National Dadgum That's Good Day. I just want to do research on where that came from. How did it get started? Peanut Butter Lovers Day? Totally with it. But are you a crunchy or a creamy? Mm, see, I love crunchy. You can call it gravel in my peanut butter all you want. I love the crunch of peanuts. I love the nuts. Um, there's a time and a place for creamy, but most of the time when I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I want a hearty peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So which one are you? Crunchy or creamy? Because it's National Peanut Butter Lovers Day. It's a fun debate to always get. Which one are you? Um, I don't know. I've always been a crunchy gal. So sharing stories, sharing fun stories, sharing stories about some amazing people, especially our gal pals. Can't wait to share them with you. So join me every Wednesday. That's what we kind of chat about and talk about our great stories, our great people. And I love helping you tell yours. So, crunchy, you are a crunchy gal? Okay. Me too, Sherry. I don't know what it is. I love me a good crunchy peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's just the way how God has made me. And He's made you special too. Me, I'm going to enjoy being clean today and every day as I go forth into the month of March. So think about some of the goals you have for this month. Is writing one of them? Writing is going to be one of them for me. I'm working on my own book, trying to get trying to get this done. Would love to stop having doctor's appointments and follow ups, and then throw some travel and some client work in there. And my calendar is pretty full. So I'm having to set aside some time where I write my own stories. So I feel you. I get it. I'm knocking up against some of the same challenges you are. But I hope that I can encourage you that if you take the time to set out some tangible goals, those tangible steps that you can do to accomplish those things. I've got some great books to recommend to you on that. How you can fine tune your habits. Right for Life is one of them, Soundtracks is the other. And I think combined, those will really help you tap into your creativity and maybe get some writing done this month. So why don't you join me? Let's take this month, right? We've got a full month this time. February sort of blew by because it was only 28 days. You know, it comes around every year, and yet I'm still never ready because I'm just like, whoa, there's the end of the month. But March is a little longer, right? And we're going to be celebrating spring, and we're also going to be, here's a topic for discussion, daylight saving time. Ooh, we'll be there in a couple of weeks. Can't wait to share with you about that one. But how do you feel about that story? Which one are you? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to get rid of it? Oh, there's always a different side, isn't there? I'm excited to share some with you and can't wait to hear what you think. Speaking of sides, hi Milo. Wouldn't be the broadcast without our kitty mascot. Well, come on in. Yeah, he's making his announcement now. So, folks, thanks again for joining me. I'm here every Wednesday morning. I know. Come on, Milo. Come on up. Come on up. It's time. Yep, it's time for you to come on up. Every Wednesday morning, 8 a.m., we sit down, we have a cup of coffee, we have a very rando show where things like Milo walks in last minute to say his regards to our viewership. Oh, yeah, there he is. Hi, Milo. How you doing, buddy? You ready to say good morning to everybody? So good morning to everybody. Right? Since you come up here and you want to say hi, you got to get your face in on the broadcast. Well, Milo wishes you a great day. Oh, look, there's a break in the storm. Look, all of a sudden it's much lighter outside. A window of opportunity. Well, I hope you'll check your opportunities today, guys. Set some time aside. Write about some silly stuff. Write about me, the silly woman that you happen to catch this weird broadcast on. She was rambling about stuff. Um, Write it down. Write a few lines down. Write them down and watch where your mind and your creativity take you. It's an interesting journey, and I'd love to share it with you. So, again, let me know if you have any questions, if you would like to book a consultation with me to talk about your writing goals. You can do that. You can join the book club, sign up to join us for our reading, or you can just join my email list so that you can keep up with some of the things that I'll be sharing with my followers on book recommendations, funny stories that I have found, and some helpful writing tips. You'll also learn some Olelo Hawaii. You'll learn your Hawaiian word of the day, along with some other fun things. So let me know how I can help. I'd love to hear from you. All right. So until next week, ladies, cups up. Let's have a great one. And I'll see you back here next week for some really amazing stories about women in history.